Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Smith. I will not be with you tomorrow, Tuesday, February the 18th. I will be helping a dear friend of mine at the polls. Tomorrow is the first day of early voting, so that's where I'll be, helping them get elected, helping them get to Austin. So pray for me, okay? Well, I do want to help you with this worksheet that I'm giving you and having the substitute give to you today, which make sure you do and complete and make sure you respect the sub and everything that they ask you to do, okay? And respect Mr. Travis as well as Coach Bird and do everything they ask you to do. I'm going to show you how to do this worksheet. It's going to be super, super easy, and then y'all can chill, all right? So this worksheet is about determinants. Okay, first of all, determinants, probably something you don't know, determinants, and something called the Cramer's rule. Now, last week I began to teach you guys about how to solve systems of equations using matrices, which is just basically the coefficients of the system without the variables. So we learned how to just manipulate the numbers, okay, and solve the equation. So this is something similar. It is the same thing. It's a way to solve a system of equations without the variables. This one is called Cramer's rule. Before last week, we started learning about Gaussian elimination. Okay. So in this one, we have what we call determinants. And a determinant is simply the product of each diagonal beginning with the upper left corner. And then you go to I'm sorry, let me just do the upper left corner. So it would be A times D. And then you would subtract C times B. Okay? That's all you have to do. A times D first, and put that as your first number. And then multiply C times B and subtract it from A times D. Pretty simple. Here's the example. The determinant of a matrix that is 2, 3, and 5, 9 would be 2 times 9. That's your first number. And then 5 times 3. Subtract it. Subtract 5 times 3 from 2 times 9. So as you know, 2 times 9 is simply 18. And then 5 times 3 is 15. So 18 minus 15 is your answer, 3. Okay? Y'all think y'all can handle that? That's the whole first side of this worksheet, is finding the determinant. Now, the determinant is only one piece of solving. Okay, that's not the solution. It's the determinant. It's going to help us find the solution. Okay, so remember that. All right, so let's go to example number 1 right here. Let me go to example number 1. So example number 1 says 1. Wrong color. Negative 1 times 4. Okay. And then negative 5 times 2. Basically, cross multiply. And we're going to divide later, but we cross multiplying first. So simply, this is going to be negative 1 times 4. That's going to be our negative 4. And then we're going to subtract. I'm going to just subtract negative 5 times 2. So negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And if I'm subtracting a negative 10, that really means I'm adding 10. So that's going to give me 6. Put it in the calculator exactly like this, and you will see that you will get 6. Okay? So let's go scroll on down. All right, so I scroll down. So let's look at number 2. Number 2, getting the determinant. We're going to start in the upper left-hand corner. We're going to multiply 3 halves times 1/4. Then we're going to multiply 1/2 times 1/4. Now, when you're multiplying fractions, hey, you just multiply straight across. So it's kind of easy. You don't have to find a common denominator like you do with addition and subtraction. So we all know that 3 times 1 is just 3. And then you got 2 times 4 is 8. So you got 3/8 minus Let's see here what we're going to have. We're going to have a 1 times 1, which is 1. And it's a negative times a negative, so we're really adding here. 2 times 4 is 8. So, hey, they have a common denominator. What do you know? Yay. So now we can add these together. Just add the tops. We get 4 over 8. Now, 4 over 8 can be simplified to 1 over 2, 1/2. Okay? Moving on. The next one is number 3. This is the last example. We'll multiply negative 3. Okay. Negative 3. Okay. Let me stop. All right. So it's negative 3 times negative 6. And then you have negative 1 times negative 4. Now, we got to master this. Hopefully, you guys already know that a negative times a negative is a positive. When it comes to multiplication, you have to change it. So it leaves us a little blank here to fill in. So let's fill in our first blank, which says negative 3. We're going to, next to that, we're going to put negative 6 because it's negative 3 times negative 6. And then in our other blank, we're going to place the negative 4 here. Okay, so let's just keep track of all the negatives that's going on right here. So a negative times a negative right here for our first set. Negative 3 times negative 6, that's positive 18. Okay, then look, you got a subtraction symbol right there. And then you got a negative times a negative here. So watch this. This is a negative times a negative. Let's do that first. That's going to produce a positive. But I'm going to subtract that positive. So I got 3 negatives right there in a row. Anytime I got an odd number of negatives, the answer in its multiplication, it's going to always end up being negative. If I got an even number of negatives in its multiplication, it's going to always be positive. Remember that. All right, so this is going to be a subtracting of negative 1 times negative 4, which is 4. So we're subtracting positive 4. So 18 minus 4 is just 14. Determinant done. All right. Good luck. That's the first side of the worksheet. I'll be back with the flip side of the worksheet, and you'll be good for the day. Peace.